Well, you haven't heard that tune for a while. And if you recognize it, it has a Japanese flavor, doesn't it? And that's the type of machine that we're going to be focusing on today that belongs to Shelly. But before we do that, we'll go ahead and launch into some other music and kind of get warmed up a little bit. We need to get warmed up here in the Twin Cities, which as of this morning was -3 degrees. Can you imagine what that feels like to be outside if you're from a warm climate? Oh my gosh. And it's actually warmed up a little bit. I think the other morning we had -8 and it felt like -26. So anyone that thought we were not going to get winter in the Twin Cities was sadly mistaken. So we'll get started just in a little bit. And yeah, get acquainted with each other. Join the live chat if you can, and let's have some fun learning more about this Japanese machine, which, as I say in the title, was a collaborative effort between two countries, really three countries, but two countries we'll focus on during this live stream. All right, a little bit more music, I think, in just a little bit here, and we'll let y'all get acquainted. Might as well do a sound check real quick, huh? Do a quick sound check. Well, I hope everybody else is doing well in this new year. We're still really at the very beginning of the new year, aren't we? We're still right at the very beginning of the new year. And I don't know what kind of resolutions you made, if any. Resolutions are kind of a hit and miss thing, aren't they? A little bit of a hit and miss thing. Oh, my goodness. Getting some of a hit and miss thing. Oh my goodness. Getting some of a hit and miss thing. This guy keeps repeating everything I say. What a silly guy. What a silly guy. Who is that? That guy from Wisconsin. What a silly guy. What a silly guy. Who is that? That guy from Wisconsin. I got to turn the volume down. This is going to drive me bonkers. All right. We will get some things plugged in here and get rolling with this live stream here pretty quick. Where are we? Sound check sounds good. Video looks good. Now, we've had new home sewing machines on the workbench before, numerous times. Some of them were US made. Some of them were made in another country, Japan. So we'll be seeing a machine today that was made by both. That collaborative effort between the US and Japan post-World War II. Almost there. Where's my list? There it is. Yeah, let's put this one on. finally got it to pause. So let's begin to take a step forward with the machine that you're going to be seeing perform today in this live stream. And as I implied, it was a collaborative effort between two countries, the United States and Japan. But long before they came together to produce this machine that is branded New Home, there was a lot of history before that. And it related all the way back to two men, William Barker and Andrew Clark. And these two men started producing what was called the New England single thread machine. Very much like the machines that we see that produce that single stitch that puts together dog bags and everything else. It's called a chain stitch machine, isn't it? But in the earlier phases, that needle was not straight. It had a little hook bend to it, and it would kind of swoop through the material to produce that stitch that they had from that earliest machine right around the mid 1800s. And they produced that thread, that type of sewing thread machine, along with also producing a special type of shuttle. And so right around 1882, they combined their two biggest creations, the home shuttle and also this single thread machine, and they combined the words new and home, and it took on the name New Home. Da! Ha ha! And they produced machines for probably about over 90 years, about 93 years. Finally, things started to fall apart going into the 1950s, post-World War II. And around 1960, there was a prominent company, Japanese-based, that ended up buying the New Home Sewing Machine Company that way back when started in the Massachusetts area. Does anyone know the name of the company from Japan that bought New Home? And they're still around today. If anyone knows that, type it in the live chat, and we will go ahead and begin launching into this. So right around 1960, there was a prominent Japanese company that bought the New Home Sewing Machine Company that started with those two men back in 1860, William Barker and Andrew Clark. William Barker and Andrew Clark. And I'll give you a first glimpse of this machine if I'm able. See if we can take a peek at it. Yeah, there it is. Kind of a simple, straightforward, plain type machine. You see the branding mark right here. New Home, and they've got that classic Greyhound dog. That was part of their branding mark for quite some time. And then in the same color scheme as this, kind of a burgundy color, in the same color scheme, they have the proud badge mark of the Japanese manufacturing. And they also have another name on there as well, out of Illinois, if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me turn the camera kind of sideways. There it is. So that's where I was saying you've got a collaborative effort between the U.S. and Japan, but beyond that, you have other elements involved as well. You've got the National Sewing Machine Company also involved in the mix of building certain parts of this machine, and then also other parts of it were made in Japan. So it's branded Japan, it's branded National Sewing Machine Company, and then on the rear of the machine, there's an additional branding that points to the hometown that I grew up in as a boy. The hometown that I grew up in as a boy, and I don't know if I'll be able to show this to you or not. Maybe. So we've got a sewing machine that was collaboratively put together parts of it in Japan, parts of it in the US, a motor built in the US, in my hometown of Racine, Wisconsin. And between those three different elements, we get this really cool bluish machine. And some of you that are really, really color savvy, you probably have a color picked out already as far as what you would label this machine. If you have any thoughts on the type of blue that it is, type that in the live chat, because I think the colors that the Japanese came up with, the color schemes, the decal patterns, were really a step up from a lot of the U.S. manufacturers. Really quite a step up. Yeah. Well, let me walk you around this machine a little bit and get you acquainted with this flavor of new home. So as we're looking at this side of the machine, it's pretty straightforward for the most part, similar to that other machine that we had recently that also was Japanese in roots. We've got an interesting feed dog drop that not only drops the feed dogs, but also allows you to tier the amount of pull that those feed dogs have. So you've got right now in the up position all the way to the right, and then you've got stages 3, 2, 1, and then a full drop on the feed dogs as well. And I think it was Teresa out of Thorpe, Wisconsin, that said she had never seen that before. It's kind of a unique approach to managing the feed dog factor on that machine. You know, sometimes we want a little bit more choices than up or down. We want to have some gradual pulling on it, similar to the Singer Slant-O-Matic machines that instead of dropping the feed dogs have that throat plate that rises up in stages to allow you to regulate the pull of those feed dogs depending on the type of material that you're sewing with. And then right up here, we've got our stitch length control. This is a straight stitch only sewing machine. It's not going to be a zigzag machine like a lot of the Japanese machines that we see. And this is going to be our boundary setter right here, this little dial. We're able to adjust it and then set boundaries as far as where that stitch length can move. And if we move it all the way to the top, we can sew in reverse like most of the machines that you see on this channel. But I really like the cool little window here where you can see the stitch length setting, and it has almost kind of a deco look to it, doesn't it? It has kind of a cool deco look. And then over here, we've got our typical bobbin winding assembly. This one's a little bit easier to operate because instead of having to press it down, you just push this in and it locks into place. And you don't really have to regulate the distance from the balance wheel because it's not going to lock in until it has that reverse pressure of the rim of the balance wheel. So it really is, again, kind of an innovation that the Japanese came up with that was a little bit easier to work with than some of the other bobbin winding systems where, like I showed you in that other live stream premiere, you have to adjust that screw and then adjust the distance that bobbin winding tire is from the rim. On this one, it can even be a little bit off, or you can have a worn down bobbin winding tire and it'll still make contact and then lock into place very, very nicely. So the Japanese were very smart in taking something and making it even better. And I'll see if I can fire this up. One of the complaints of the owner, and I should focus on the owner a little bit, Shelly, and her last name is Sampers, Shelly Sampers, from the Twin Cities area. Actually met her. It's kind of funny when you have a temporary workshop, you have to meet people in different places, sometimes in their home. Sometimes you meet them at a third party type location, like a parking lot. And that's what I did with Shelly. I met her in a grocery parking lot, not too far from the temporary workshop. And we did the deal right there in the parking lot. She had two machines, this one, and then she also had a Husqvarna type machine that eventually you might see a live stream of as well. And it's not one of the real vintage ones. It's a little bit more contemporary, and it's branded Husky. Some of you probably have seen that model before. It's branded Husky, and it was made by Husqvarna Viking. So that'll be a fun machine to potentially present as well. But the machines just continue to have innovations with these Japanese flavored clone machines. And they also come with a wide variety of motors. Like I implied, the motor on this machine was made in my hometown of Racine, Wisconsin, but it didn't have much power when it came to this temporary workshop. Now, if I disengage the clutch and I hit the gas, see if we can come over here and we'll take a quick look at the balance wheel. We'll fire this up. Put a drag on it like we're winding a bobbin. It doesn't slow down much, does it? So those motors that they made back in my hometown of Racine, Wisconsin, where I grew up as a little boy, they did an excellent job of building very, very strong motors to power these heavy Japanese clone type machines, and certainly a variety of other machines as well. And we're going to be seeing hopefully some of that power today as we sew on this Japanese made new home that also had other companies involved as well. So let me do this real quick. Let me go and look at the chat and say some good mornings. I'll put on a little bit of music while we're doing that, and then we'll launch into this machine pretty quick. Let's see here. Here we go. Well, let's see who we have this morning. Turn this music down just a little bit. Well, Susie has reclaimed her position as first in the classroom today, but right on her heels was Gladys Goblin. Yeah, I think I'm saying that right. What is that? Glass Goblin. Glass Goblin. Yeah. So right on the heels of Susie was Glass Goblin. So good morning to them as well. Good morning to Candido. Good morning to Tim out in Thorpe, Wisconsin. Great to have Tim here. And I also I was going to surprise Tim, so I guess I'm surprising him right now. But he had asked at the last premiere we did, or live stream, when I played the 1812 Overture, if I would consider playing the William Tell finale overture, blah, 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 blah. So today, when we do the final sew off on a new type of leather that Susie and I were able to pick up at a thrift shop and cut down, it's basically a genuine cowhide. When we do that final finale of sewing around on this circle, I think I'm going to play the William Tell Overture today, the William Tell finale, as it's referred to. So I do listen, and when I can do stuff and add fun stuff that all of you come up with, I love to do that. I love to do that. Let's see who else we have. Scrolling. I think that's about it. Oh, and also good morning to Emma. Good morning to Emma as well out in the beautiful state of Florida. Great to have Emma here in this live stream and this new year. Yeah. And I was just reading, I was trying to remember where Glass Goblin is from. So Glass Goblin wants to type that into the live chat where they're from. Probably all of you know because you spend a lot more time chatting with folks than I do. But yeah, it's great to have all of you here this morning. I'm going to go ahead and hit play again. We'll have a little bit of music, and then we'll get started. Kansas, from the great state of Kansas. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm sorry to hear that Emma's getting some flooding down in Florida. That's not good. Certainly pray for your protection down that way. Well, I mentioned that on the front of this machine, and I showed you as well that on the front of this machine right here, it has the name of the New Home Sewing Machine Company Model 703, but then it also mentions Rockford, Illinois. And Rockford, Illinois, if you didn't know it, is the general stomping ground of where the National Sewing Machine Company established itself. And if you don't know anything about the National Sewing Machine Company, that did a lot of private branding for prominent companies. They would meet with companies that wanted to offer sewing machines, but did not want to invest millions of dollars in putting together a sewing machine production facility. And so the National Sewing Machine down in Illinois would then private brand that sewing machine for that operator. They might do it for Macy's or Sears or any of the other major retailers that wanted to offer sewing machines in their line of merchandise. And the National Sewing Machine Company, if you didn't know it, started right around 1890. And we had talked about William Barker and Andrew Clark that started the original New Home Sewing Machine Company in 1860. So about 30 years after these two men started the New Home Sewing Machine Company, the National Sewing Machine Company came onto the scene and then eventually got involved with helping to produce machines like this New Home as well. So we've got a company in Racine that built the motor. We've got the Japanese that built part of the machine along with the National Sewing Machine Company out of Illinois. And who knows, maybe there were other hands involved as well in helping to produce this really, really cool robin egg colored Japanese machine. But the National Sewing Machine Company were involved in producing machines on the East Coast, but they generally only produced machines for companies that were going to be based or at least rooted in the U.S. And so they partnered with companies, like I said, like with Sears and J.C. Penney and Macy's and a variety of others to make sewing machines, but they usually did not step out of the space of the U.S. with their production. Most of it stayed in house. And very much like the New Home Sewing Machine Company that I mentioned was purchased by a prominent Japanese company. And you probably already figured out I was referring to Janome. Janome purchased the New Home brand right around in the 1960s, early 1960s. They did the same thing with the National Sewing Machine Company. So all of that then started to fall under the Japanese footprint of sewing machines being made post-World War II. The Japanese didn't want to just be partners and didn't want to just produce. They wanted to have ownership. So they bought those two prominent companies that had roots going back well before their presence in making machines post-World War II. And some of you might remember as well that the Japanese company Janome came because of a unique discovery or a unique observation that the Japanese people made. Does anyone remember that story? Anyone remember the story of how Janome got their name? I'll give you a big hint. I'll hold this up. I'll hold this up to give you a hint of how Janome might have gotten their name. Anyone know? Anyone remember? Maybe I've got you stumped early on a Tuesday morning. Well, Emma's right. Emma's absolutely right. Janome literally means eye of the snake. Literally means eye of the snake. And the way they came up with that name is they were looking at the bobbins that went into their machines. They looked at this center part and they thought that it looked like the eye of a snake. I don't know if I quite see the eye of the snake thing. I see an opening, but that's how the Japanese came up with the name of Janome, is because of that inner opening on their bobbins. And they started calling it Janome right around in that same time period. Now, when we look at the different bobbins that would go into this type of new home machine, there's a variety of them that will work in this machine. They're all going to have a class 15 type style. And you can see them right here. This is the most typical one that we're used to seeing in a class 15 type style. Sometimes we'll see these used in some of the class 15 machines as well. We don't see this one quite as often, but these are all going to have generally the same diameter, the same height, the same circumference, the same inner opening as well. So all of these bobbins potentially will work with this Japanese American-made new home sewing machine. So if you happen to have some of these, don't throw out this one and this one. Try them in the bobbin case. Try sewing with them, and they should work fine on your machine. But those are the three that can typically be used on a machine like this. Now, the only difference on this machine compared to the last class 15 that I showed all of you, that 15-91, is that this one is going to have the opposite setup as that last one that we just looked at. We looked at that class 1591, and I talked about the setting of the needle. I talked about the positioning of the flat side. I talked about the orientation of the bobbin in the bobbin case. So if this is the opposite, does someone want to type into the live chat, what way is the flat side on this Japanese American new home going to be facing? How are we going to position that flat side of the needle? How are we going to put that bobbin into the bobbin case so that we can have success with this Japanese American new home sewing machine? Anyone know? Go ahead and type it into the live chat if you do. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get a quick little swig of soda, I think. Also, good morning to Sheila Kilgore. It looks like Sheila joined us just a little bit ago. So good morning to Sheila Kilgore as well, along with all the others that I already said hello to. Great to have you here. All right. While you're contemplating how this machine would be set up, while you're contemplating that, I'll go ahead and put just a little bit more music on for you. I'm also going to show you that the temperature of the machine is about 62 degrees right now. So it is cool down in this temporary workshop. 62 degrees. 61 degrees. It's getting colder down here. And then if I shoot the wall that's right adjacent to the workbench, we're at 56 degrees. And that's with a heater down here. Oh, man. So we'll see how this Japanese machine operates in colder temperatures today, right? Also, good morning to Aaron Allen, my dear friend from the great state of Vermont. Great to have you here, Aaron. Now, I saw that Candido. Let me go ahead and stop this Mozart real quick. I saw that Candido had said, would we put the flat side to the right? Candido is absolutely correct. Unlike the class 15-91 by Singer that we just did, this Japanese class 15 is going to be set up the opposite. So as we're setting the needle, which is going to be a Schmetz 9014 universal needle today, as we're setting the needle, we're going to be putting the flat side to the right, where, as you'll remember, when we set up the 1591, by Singer, we had to put the flat side to the left. Also, when we're setting up the bobbin case in this, and we're putting that bobbin into the bobbin case, instead of having the thread coming over the top like this, like we did with the 1591, we're going to have the bobbin inverted with the thread coming underneath the bottom on this Japanese American-made new home. So make sure you set this up properly. If you've got more than one class 15, they may have very different setups. So just take that into account as you're setting up your machines and as you're working with them, that one of them might have the bobbin turning counterclockwise like this one. Another one might have it turning clockwise. One might have the flat side to the left. Another might have it facing to the right. And those are big deals when it comes to that machine being able to sew. So take that into account when you're going through setup and you're getting things positioned properly. Yeah, flat side to the left. Emma is spot on. So yeah, on this new home that was made collaboratively by Japan and the United States, this machine has the opposite setup of the Singer 1591 that we just presented in that premiere on this channel. Now, what are we going to be sewing today? Let me show you. A lot of these things are going to be the same as before, a little bit different maybe. We're going to have 100% cotton. It's kind of a cool charcoal color that I picked out for today. And we've got a fairly thick layer of quilt batting in between it. So we'll be doing that sew off to mimic what a quilter might be sewing. Now we got some more of that silly outdoor carpeting. I had to sew more of that outdoor carpeting. I got a lot of fun notes afterwards saying, didn't know that a sewing machine, even with workshop magic, could sew carpeting. But we did it, didn't we? And this one, this Japanese new home that was collaboratively also made with US Elements, has a little bit more clearance underneath the presser foot. The hyperextension's a little bit higher. You can see that. That hyperextension is probably giving us 2 to 3 millimeters extra clearance. And then on top of that, we've got our quick release on this class 15 right up here, where I can push that outer band and I can release all the presser foot pressure, which allows me then to take the presser foot. Maybe I can grab it like this. I can take the presser foot and I can extend it even higher up to potentially get 2 layers of this carpeting underneath the presser foot. We'll see if we can do it. If we can, we'll try to pull off 2 layers, which we were not able to do successfully or effectively on the Singer 15-91. Just didn't quite have enough clearance, and I thought it would be counterproductive to try to force it to do it. So we didn't do it. We may try to do it on this one, which would mean a sew off about that thick with 2 pieces of outdoor carpeting. So we'll see if we're able to pull that off. That would be a lot of fun. And again, then we could point at the fact, those people that are poo-poo and negative about Japanese machines, we could show them that the Japanese really did have an innovative approach in improving the models that they got from the US and making them even better. So I think that's a huge kudos to the Japanese people for doing that. Kind of fits in with our constant and never-ending improvement, doesn't it? Our Kanai principle. And then we've got standard 100% cotton here. We'll do 8 layers of that probably. We've got a different type of upholstery material today. This is kind of a cool thing. I got it with some of those samplers that you can pick up at thrift shops sometimes. They've got multiple chunks of different materials. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me see if I can show it to you. It's really fun to find these sometimes and then to sample and try the different materials that go with them. And they look something kind of like this. See if I can pull this out here. You get them kind of like this. They come out from different producers of textiles like Bernhard, and you get different samples that you can try. This is off of the one I think that we're going to be using today. get different samples like this. Some of these are going to be really hard unless we did a zigzag to be able to see that stitch on there. But I've got a pretty good stack of these. So over time, I might pull them out. Most of these are going to be upholstery type materials. A lot of them are going to be a combination of nylon and cotton, or nylon and polyester. The one that we're using today is, I'll show you the card. It's a combination of polyester, recycled polyester, and then also bleach cleanable nylon. Has anyone heard of bleach cleanable nylon as far as a material before? I had never heard of it, but there it is right there on the card. So this will be interesting today to try this sew off, because we've got some other materials that are built into this fabric that are in play, and we'll have to see how this Japanese American new home can handle that. But yeah, I'm sure most of you have probably seen those. You may have not picked them up. I would recommend picking them up and then putting your various machines to the test with some of these upholstery type materials. See how your machine does. And that's not all of them I've got. Let me see if I can grab my stack. This is my stack of all of the samples that I've gotten. A lot of these are going to be upholstery. Some of them are going to be nylon based, cotton based, and everything in between. And then Emma recently as well, you remember when she sent up her friend's machine, the Singer was a 328, right? Trying to read a 328K. When she set up the 328K that her friend sent, Emma also sent some extra materials to try as well. I love trying new materials just because it's something for us to experience that's a little bit different. You know what I mean? I don't want to do the same thing every single time. Although it's good to have some constancy, I think. Then we've got denim, 100% denim as well. And we've got this stuff here that's made to look like fleece, but it's actually 100% polyester. We've got this genuine cowhide that just picked up. We'll be doing 2 or 3 layers of that. And then also we'll be doing the William Tell finale at the end with this larger circle of genuine cowhide as well. And then certainly we've got our Amazon Prime packing paper as well that we'll be doing. I think our max that we've done so far is 14 layers. I think we'll try to do, if I can fold it correctly, I think we'll try to do 16 layers on this Japanese American new home today. Yeah. So with that, if anyone has any strong feelings about what you want to see sewn first, we can try to involve you in choosing some of these materials that I've got. I've got the outdoor carpeting. I've got this fake fleece. I've got denim. I've got this upholstery material, which we've never tried before, 100% cotton, and then 100% cotton with quilt batting in between. So if you have any strong feelings about wanting to see something sewn first, then just type it into the live chat, and I'll go ahead and try to honor that. Oh, good. Thank goodness. We finally know. Melissa is so much easier to say than Glass Goblin. So I'm going to try to remember that Glass Goblin is Melissa, and we'll say Melissa from this point moving forward, which will make my life a lot easier. So, all right. I don't see any direct input about what to sew first, so I'm just going to jump into it. We'll just jump into it and have a little bit of fun. Maybe we'll start with this outdoor carpeting. I kind of left it a little bit later the last time. And maybe we'll launch with this. So I'll start with a single layer of this outdoor carpeting on this Japanese American new home. Kind of put it like this. And does anyone have any input? I can run it. I can try to run it with this side down. I didn't do that before. Or we can try to run it with this side down. The difference is going to be where that top stitch presents. So what do you think? Should we do the flat side or the fluffy side against the feed dogs? Flat side or fluffy side against the feed dogs? And Tim is saying, let's put the fluffy side against the feed dog. So let's do that. Let's try it. The fluffy side is a little bit more slippery. So we'll really test the feed factor of this Japanese American clone machine. And because it is a little bit thicker and bulky, I'm going to go ahead and bump up that presser foot pressure just a little bit more. And again, if you haven't seen these before, they're really quite nice. Again, if you push this outer ring down, you can take away all the presser foot pressure. And then you can push it down in increments depending on what you're sewing. So if you're sewing something really light, you might only go down to about there. But if you're sewing something a little bit thicker and a little bit fluffier like this, and you want better traction, you might push her down quite a bit ways down further. And most of these are going to be numbered, so you can remember if you're going to be repeating the same type of sew off again, what number you had success with as far as setting that presser foot pressure. And the presser foot pressure really is critical in getting the fullness of your stitch length. You're going to find if you don't have enough presser foot pressure, you're going to get stubbier stitches. I've talked about that numerous times. So we're going to pad the deck a little bit, push this down a little bit further, not all the way to the max, but we're going to go down a good ways. And then we'll see if we can launch and get through this outdoor carpeting. And we're going to be doing the fluffy side down, which we haven't tried before. But Tim said, let's give it a go. So we're going to give it a go. All right. So let me come back a little bit. Going to go like this. There we go. There we go. That's a good shot. And this machine does have a light as well. But I've got the light off right now because I was getting a little bit of a glare when I was testing the camera response before this live stream. All right, so let's give us a try. Fluffy side down, a single layer of this outdoor carpeting, and we'll see how this Japanese American new home does against this material. All right, here we go. And I didn't see any feed issues. I don't know about you. I didn't see any feed issues whatsoever. And it looks like this machine did a beautiful job laying down a really pretty top stitch. We'll take a look at this a little bit closer and see what you think. So if you've never sewn, I've been introducing some new thoughts as far as trying sew-offs. If you've never tried sewing outdoor carpeting before, put it on your bucket list. If your machine can sew outdoor carpeting successfully like this Japanese new home, you've got a good running machine, because this stuff has all kinds of stability and stabilizers in it, and it's really, really a tough material to get through. So let's look at that top stitch first, which is going to be against this flat side. It's going to be a little bit easier for us to see it today. Take a look at this. Let that camera focus. Here, maybe I'll go like this. Some beautiful stitching on this tricky outdoor carpeting. Some tricky sewing on this material. And again, there's probably going to be a vinyl or a nylon running through this outdoor carpeting. That would really set us up to skip stitches. We didn't have any skip stitches on this initial sew off. Maybe we will when we hit 2 layers, if we're able to do that. And I'm seeing some really good stitch alignment. Occasionally, if you look at the stitches with a lot of scrutiny, I'll turn it like this as well. If you look at the stitches with a lot of scrutiny, you might see a couple of them that have a tiny little tilt to them. And that's going to be a tension factor where that bobbin case is not pulling down quite hard enough. Let me see if I can get it right there. Remember, your bobbin case is going to be pulling down and helping to define that top stitch. All in all, we've got some really, really good stitch presentation and stitch alignment, but a couple of places, I'll turn it like this again, couple of places you'll see just a very subtle little tilt to the stitch. And that's going to mean that our bobbin case didn't pull quite hard enough. So you can get a little bit closer. Yeah. All in all, a beautiful stitch by this Japanese new home machine. So let's turn it over now and see if we can look at the fluffy side. This is our fluffy side now. I think we need to give it a haircut to be able to see it really well, but I'll see if I can pull it back and we'll take a look at that lock stitching through the fluffy side of this outdoor carpeting. Get it right about there. Maybe we can see her. Adjust my light over here too a little bit. Maybe that'll help. I'm trying to pull it back. I really am. There we go. There we go. I had to really bend it back. So this is our lock stitch, and I'm literally bending this carpet in half to get those stitches to pop out. But boy, are they gorgeous lock stitches, aren't they? Really, really lovely lock stitches. Just absolutely page 34 plus from what I'm seeing so far. Let's bend this back again. Oh, Jiminy. It's a little slippery on the edges. I'm trying to, maybe I can bend it this way. Beautiful, beautiful lock stitches. Keep going across. It's kind of fun. Like, oh, they're gone. They're gone. There's no stitches. There's no lock stitches. Shazam. Oh, I almost dropped it there. Ha ha. Pull it back again. There they are. Pull it back. So our lock stitches are nicely defined, and maybe almost a little bit overly defined. If we were sewing outdoor carpeting all day long, which we're not going to be doing, because that'd be kind of crazy, wouldn't it? But if we were sewing outdoor carpeting all day long, we would want to back off that upper tension just slightly, so that we can give a little bit more power to that bobbin case. But I'm glad that Tim suggested that we sew it like this, because the lock stitch is going to be harder to define, because that needle has to sweep down through this fluffy, really, really dense outdoor carpeting and pull that thread all the way back up. And it did a beautiful job. It did a beautiful job of accomplishing that. There it is. So I would say this is a definite success. Our first sew off is this outdoor carpeting. And we got beautiful page 34 plus stitches. Let's see if we can pull off 2 layers of this. I'm going to see if I can fit it underneath the presser foot, and we'll see what results we get with this Japanese American new home machine. We were not able to do this on the 1591. And I think in this instance, what I'd like to do is I'd like to put the fluffy side facing in so that we can see the lock stitch and the top stitch against this flatter surface much easier. We won't have to pull back that fluffy material. We'll be able to look at it and see it very clearly. And I'll try it just with the presser foot clearance and the hyperextension. We'll see if we can get it underneath there. Make sure my needle is clear so I don't bend the needle. And otherwise, we're going to release that presser foot pressure, and we'll force that presser foot up to a higher height. And with that hyperextension, I don't know if you can see it, that hyperextension is so critical, because when I employ that hyperextension, I'm able to fit this material underneath there without that quick release on the presser foot pressure. So I'm going to get that into position. We're going to give this a try. I don't believe that we've ever tried, to my knowledge, we've never tried 2 layers of this outdoor carpeting before, only 1. So this is a brand new venture here. We'll see how things go. And I'm going to, because we're dealing with a real dense material here, again, that I don't know if this outdoor carpeting has nylon or vinyl in it or whatever it's got. Who knows? But it's really tough stuff. So I actually increased the pressure foot pressure even higher. We're almost at the very, very max now. So let's see what happens. I've got more needles if we break or bend a needle, but hopefully our Schmetz 9014 universal needle is able to get through this and lay down some decent stitching that we can take a peek at. All right. So keep your fingers and toes crossed and let's hope for a great result. I'm just going to get my take-up arm all the way up. A little bit nervous because we haven't tried this before. A little bit nervous. All right, here we go. And I'm not going to play any music. I want you to listen to this machine work. Listen to this machine work. One of the things that Shelly said when we met in the parking lot and I took this machine and her Husky is that it's a machine that she learned how to sew on, but it hasn't been serviced probably in 50 years. And it was running sluggish. It was running just like it didn't have any strength. It's got a lot of strength now. So let's see if it has enough strength to get through these 2 layers of outdoor carpeting. I hope so. And we didn't talk about it. But the hook system on this machine, like a lot of the Japanese made machines, is going to be an oscillating hook. That will really help us in this respect because with the oscillating hook, it doesn't have to make that full rotation like a rotary hook, and it's going to be able to deliver the stitching at a higher quality, regardless of the type of thread we're using on this Japanese new home. So I think we'll do okay. Let's hope so. But I'm going to hold that tail just for a second as we launch. And oh boy, here we go. He's back to sewing carpeting again, and 2 layers this time. Oh my gosh. We do crazy stuff, but it's fun, isn't it? All right, here we go. Now I'm holding the foot controller way back. I'm intentionally going very, 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 very slow. Intentionally going very, very slow because I wanted to give this machine at least a fighting chance to try to get through this awful, nasty stuff. And you're going to be incredibly impressed what we just accomplished. 2 layers of outdoor carpeting. You're not supposed to sew outdoor carpeting with a household sewing machine. And yet we did. And now we just raised it all the way up to 2 layers. Never having done that before. Never, ever having done that before. All right, so let's take a look at that top stitch first, and then we'll look at that lock stitch and see what you think. I'll move my light in just a little bit closer. Might have to pull it back a little bit for the camera. So this again is going to be our top stitching, We're starting out really well. We're starting out really, really well. Nice, even, appropriately spaced stitches. And actually, it doesn't look like we had much compression, even with the density of this material. In other words, we've got some nice full stitches. They're not stubby. I don't know what you're seeing, but I'm seeing some beautiful page 34 plus stitches. Beautiful, beautiful stitching. Beautiful stitching. Look at that. And it looks like Melissa is coming to the defense. Melissa is coming to the defense of the 1591. It's not a matter of handling it. The 1591 with a 0.5 or a 0.6 amp potted motor can handle the heaviest of sew-offs. But the issue with that model, Melissa, is the presser foot clearance. If we have presser foot clearance that is so restrictive that when we go for a super thick sew-off, it's not going to feed the material properly. And that's why I elected not to try it on that 1591 in that last premiere that we did. 1591 can handle it very easily, but it's the issue of the clearance underneath the presser foot. It just is not equal to this Japanese made new home. We've got more hyper extension on this new home. And then we also, in a pinch, we've got the quick release on the presser foot pressure where we can get almost unlimited clearance underneath that presser foot. I'm a big fan of the 1591, but I also don't want to set a machine up to fail either. And if we had tried to force that 1591 to sew these 2 layers of outdoor carpeting, we would have gotten some crummy looking stitching. Now, if Melissa wants to pick up some outdoor carpeting at a local Menards or a Home Depot or something like that and try it on her 1591 and do a video, I'll be happy to post it on Facebook or even share it on YouTube. Not a problem. But I always want to give machines the opportunity to show their greatness. And I'm not going to do something with a machine if I think that it's going to fail. And all machines have a ceiling. All machines have a certain level that they can reach, and then they're going to stop. And unfortunately, the 1591 just doesn't have the same level of clearance underneath the presser foot that this Japanese new home does. And a number of the other Japanese machines. Again, the Japanese took some great models that were modeled off of the Singer Class 15 machines, and they improved them. They even made them better than they were when they were originally designed in the United States. So anyway, we got a beautiful top stitch through all of this outdoor carpeting. That's what it looks like from the side. That's what it looks like from the edge. That's a crazy sew off. A crazy sew off, especially sewing with a 9014 needle, which is kind of a mid-range needle. If you were sewing outdoor carpeting like this, 2 layers of this, really would be better off with a size 100, which equates to a size 16 needle, is what I would recommend at least. I would strongly recommend it. So what I would say is don't be afraid to push your machines a little bit, but also recognize that any sewing machine, and that includes light industrial and even commercial machines, will have a ceiling, a glass ceiling that they'll hit, and then the machine will begin to degrade as far as the stitch quality. So just recognize that. We've got a beautiful stitch here. Our top stitch is absolutely spot on. We'll turn it around now and look at that lock stitch. See how this Japanese American new home did on the lock stitch. I think some really good looking stitching, but look at that 1, 2, 3. Look at that 4th stitch in. Look at that 4th stitch in. You'll see just a little bit of a tilt on that 4th stitch. See it? That's an indication that if we were sewing 2 layers of outdoor carpeting all day long, we would want to bump up that upper tension just slightly, because you'll see that 4th stitch has just a slight tilt to it, which means our upper tension was not strong enough, because we're having to pull that thread all the way back through these 2 thick layers of outdoor carpeting. But all in all, if you look at the consistency and the spacing and the clarity of the stitch going all the way across, we've got a beautiful stitch presentation on this lock stitch side with this Japanese American new home machine. That is beautiful stitching when you consider the material that we just sewed through. Beautiful material and beautiful stitching. Not a single skip stitch. We've got beautiful lock stitching, with the exception of that 4th stitch in. That 4th stitch in has just a subtle little tilt to it, and we could correct that very easily by bumping up our upper tension right here. All we have to do is bump up that upper tension just slightly. And the other choice we would have is this also has an adjuster on the side where there's a screw that you can loosen. See if I can show it to you. See that screw right there? That screw right there is going to be like the other machines I've shown you, where you can determine how much range of motion you want on your take-up spring right here that works with your take-up arm. the more motion you have on your take-up spring in conjunction with your take-up arm, the more pull that you're going to get for that lock stitch. In other words, it's going to magnify the effectiveness of the upper tension when you have a larger range of motion on that take-up spring by adjusting that little screw and lowering that spring down a little bit further. Unless you're working with delicate threads, like some of the silk threads, or maybe some of the other threads out there that are specialty threads that have a much lower breaking point. If you have a lower breaking point, then just like on the Husqvarnas that I showed you, you'll want to reduce the range of motion on that take-up spring. So what you would do then is loosen that screw over here, and you would go ahead and push that spring up higher so that it's not moving in a larger range of motion than when it's at the lowest position like it is right now. So just take that into account. If you're working with specialty threads and they keep breaking, it may not be an issue of your tension per se. It might be an issue of the range of motion of that take-up spring. More delicate threads, you'll want less range of motion. In other words, when that take-up spring is moving up and down in the sewing process, you want it moving in a lower range of motion than when you're working with the heavier threads, so you can magnify the effects of that upper tension for that lock stitch. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense because it's important that you understand that so you can have success. Having success means that you can move between a wide field of materials. You can move between a wide field of thread types and have to make fewer adjustments here once you make an adjustment here to accommodate that type of thread. So take that into account. Most sewing machines are going to give you the opportunity to do that, and you'll want to take advantage of it when you especially get into the more delicate specialty threads. Okay? Yeah. All right. Enough blah, blah, blahing, right? Enough blah, blah, blahing. All right. Let's go to our next sew off. So I'm kind of stoked. I'm kind of stoked that we were able to get through these 2 layers of outer carpeting on this Japanese American new home, able to do it successfully, and plus maintain beautiful, beautiful stitch quality. So all we've done so far in this live stream, all we've done so far is sew carpeting. What's up with that? So now we're going to move into some of the other sew offs that we've got available to us, and I'll see if I can show you them again. So if you want to help me choose, I certainly would welcome that. So we've got some of this genuine cowhide leather that Susie and I just picked up. It was actually from a bag at a Goodwill, and Susie went through and cut up all the leather both into strips like this and then also into a circle like this for the final sew off. But this is great leather. Great leather. I love does anyone else, am I the only weirdo that loves sniffing leather? I love the smell of leather, don't you? Whenever I get leather like this, I'm like, sucking it in my nose because I just love the smell of it. So we've got this leather that we can sew. I'm going to keep the circle until the very end. We've got this fake fleece that's made out of polyester. We've got heavy grade, genuine denim. Some really, really nice stuff. Just trying to show you this is sturdy, sturdy stuff. We've got some of this upholstery material, which I've never sewn before. It's a brand new type of upholstery material, and it's got all kinds of weird stuff in it. So it'll be interesting to see how this machine does with this upholstery material. I've got up to 3 layers. The most we've sewn recently with upholstery material is 2 layers. So I think we're going to see if we can push it to 3 today. We got 100% cotton. We'll probably do 8 layers of that like before. We've got 100% cotton with a quilt batting in between. And then last but not least, we've got our Amazon Prime packing paper. The max that we've done so far is 14 layers. I think I'm going to try to do 16 layers today. 16 layers of this paper. And that's not an easy task. It really isn't. That's pretty doggone tough. So yeah, just let me know if you have any preference on what we sew next. I'm going to get a quick swig of Diet Coke and also put on a little bit more Mozart, I think, a little bit more Mozart. All right, looks like we're going to try the upholstery, and then we're going to try the denim. So I'm going to pull this upholstery out. Again, this upholstery has a weird material composition. See if I can find it. Shut off Mozart for a second. So this material we're going to be sewing right now, and Emma had said, let's do the upholstery. So we're going to do the upholstery material. This stuff is, let's see here. It's got 63% polyester, 19% recycled polyester, and 18% bleach cleanable nylon. I have no idea what most of that stuff is, but you can see it there on the little label thingy that they give us. So we've got polyester, we have recycled polyester, we've got bleach cleanable nylon, whatever the heck that is. I've got no idea. But we're going to try a single layer, and then we'll add 2 layers to it. Or maybe we'll do it incrementally. Maybe we'll do 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layers, and just kind of build up a little bit of suspense. See if we can get through all 3 of those. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, I won't waste all that time doing that. We'll do, let's see here. Maybe we'll do 2 layers and then add the 3rd. I don't want to be overly dramatic. Let's see. I'm going to put the side out. That'll show us the stitches a little bit better. So we've got 2 layers of this fancy dancy upholstery material. I'll kind of sew off to the left side a little bit, and then we'll add that 3rd layer. Again, we haven't done 3 layers before. We've only done 2, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. We'll see what happens, huh? Kind of a pretty material, though, isn't it? I like the little pattern accent on it. Kind of groovy looking. All right, so let's give this a go. Let's see how we do. 2 layers of upholstery material, and then we'll look at adding this 3rd one after that. All right, here we go. I better hold that thread for a second. All right, I'm going to pop that up. Yeah, it handled that upholstery material a lot better than I thought it would. It handled that upholstery material much, much better than I anticipated. We'll look at these stitches, and then we'll add that 3rd layer. I'm almost thinking that we probably could have gone to 4 layers. And I'll tell you one thing, that 1591 that we just showed from 1933 that belongs to Olivia could definitely go through this stuff, 3, 4, or 5 layers even of it. 1591 is an incredibly strong machine. Incredibly strong. All right, let's look at these 2 layers, and then we'll look at that 3rd layer, see what impact we can bring to that stitch from that. Should be pretty cool, pretty interesting. All right, upholstery material with recycled and bleach, blah, 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 and all kinds of stuff. And I saw Emma was giving a little bit more insight into what that stuff means. What does that mean when they label all these different material types? Come on, camera, you can do it. Come on, camera. Come on, baby. Let's try you like this. Let's try it like this now. Come on, you can do it. Having a little trouble focusing on that, isn't it? Let's try it vertically. Maybe it'll do better that way. There we go. There we go. I don't know why it won't focus on this horizontally. It's got to be the color scheme is kind of creating a little bit of confusion for the camera. A little bit of confusion for the camera. Well, let's go up and look at these stitches as best as we can. I'm going to move my light over a little bit as well, see if that helps. Right there on that little patch, you can barely see the stitching. It just kind of blends in, doesn't it? Some really good looking stitching on these upholstery material. Again, we did 2 layers of it. See if I can get it to focus now, maybe. Maybe from that distance, huh? I think from that distance is about what we're going to get. So we'll try it this way. There you can see the stitching on that lighter material now where it kind of blended in before. Beautiful stitching all the way across. You're also not seeing any tilting of the stitching, which means our bobbin case had enough pull down power to give us a really, really nice, clear, defined top stitch. Look at the alignment of that stitch. It's absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. Let's try it right over here. Kind of tilting it back a little bit so the light is shining on it. Maybe that'll help us a little bit. I don't know. It does not like the color of that upholstery material. Certain points it'll pick it up straight away, and other points it won't. But you've been able to see it, I think, clearly enough. It really is a lovely, lovely top stitch all the way down. Lovely, lovely top stitch. All right, let's turn it over. I don't want to belabor this. We'll turn it over now and look at the lock stitch. And again, 2 layers of upholstery material looks like that. 2 layers of upholstery material looks like that. It's a fairly thick sew off. Fairly thick sew off. So we looked at the top stitch. Let's turn it around now and look at that lock stitch. Look at that lock stitch. This is showing up a little bit more clearly, so we're not having to battle it quite as much. And again, as you're looking at this, the balance factor of tension can be a little bit daunting sometimes, but because we understand how it works, we're able to make very, very subtle adjustments and rein it in very quickly. Right here, we're seeing some really good lock stitching, but on a couple of the stitches, there might be a little bit of a hint of a tilt to that stitch. So this tells us that as that needle sweeps down through these 2 layers of upholstery material and tries to pull that thread back up, it needs a little bit more help if we are going to be sewing this all day long. It needs a little bit more help. So let's go across and look at these. You'll see an occasional stitch that has a real subtle tilt to it, a real subtle tilt. And that's an upper tension factor. I'm going to put the light down a little bit further, see if that helps. certain colors, this camera just does not like. Certain colors, this camera just goes, I don't want to focus on that. I'm not into that color. I am not into that color. Let's try it like this. Let's shut off that light for a second too. That might actually be hurting us. Let's see if that comes in 0 now. There we go. So now we're looking at our lock stitching. I'm going to see if I can kind of bring it up and let you look at it as we go. All in all, the stitch alignment is really, really quite nice. But that occasional tilt on the stitch indicates that just a tiny little bump up on the upper tension would benefit us on this upholstery material. Yeah, let's come down again, see if we can see this stitching fairly clearly. Nice, nice stitching. Very nice stitching. So our lock stitch, I'll kind of just hold it there for a moment. Our lock stitching looks really, really spot on. Top stitching, I'll turn it around again. Look at that top stitching. Really, really nice looking top stitching as well. Now let's add that third layer and see what impact that brings. We'll add that third layer. This is curled back a little bit. There we go. We'll add that third layer and see if we can still maintain some decent stitch quality, stitch presentation. And we might as well anticipate that if we had a little bit of a challenge with the upper tension not being high enough with 2 layers, that we're going to have even more of an issue with 3 layers. So I'm just going to slightly bump this up just a tiny little bit. Turning it clockwise just slightly. We just don't want to go too far, because if we go too far, we're going to get a really, really good looking lock stitch with no tilting of stitches, but we're going to steal away from that top stitch, aren't we? So you have to balance it. You go far enough, but not too far. All right, so let's try this. We'll add this third layer now. So we're looking at a sew off like this. You can see that from the side. 3 layers of upholstery material. Go ahead and slide this underneath the presser foot, and we'll try buzzing down this as well. All right, here we go. 3 layers of this fancy upholstery material. Let me get my take-up arm all the way up. And here we go. And I'll go just a little bit faster on this time, just to give a little bit more run time to this machine. I've been running it kind of slow. So here we go. All right, so let's look at this stitch, and I'll put a little dot next to our second line so we can see clearly which one it is. This is our second line of stitching right here. I'll put a little dot right there and a little dot right there. Go and clip our threads now, and we'll take a look at this stitching. All right, so that bottom row is our second row of stitching. See what we think of that. And top row, you've already seen that. So let me raise the camera up a little bit, get us a little bit more light. There we go. So you can see the black dot on the bottom. That's our second row. I'm not seeing any compression of stitching, which means our feed dog system on this Japanese American new home is doing an excellent job, even with 3 layers of upholstery material, of maintaining that feed factor and keeping that material feeding evenly and well. Let's go across. Beautiful, beautiful stitching. I'm actually liking the stitching even more on that bottom row going through 3 layers. You've got a little bit more material depth. It allows a little bit more tolerance as far as the centering of that knot. It allows a little bit better centering of that knot, which actually zeroes that stitch in even better as we go a little bit thicker on this upholstery material. Let's take a look at it one more time, and then we'll flip it over and look at the other side. Some really, really good looking stitching. Really good looking. I'm impressed. I don't know about you. We haven't done 3 layers of upholstery material before. And this new home just did a spectacular job. And we're not sewing with any kind of a fancy thread. We're using our regular Coats and Clark XP dual duty thread. And it's doing a fabulous job with this upholstery material. So you don't necessarily need to use upholstery thread on upholstery material. You can pull it off with a polyester thread like this Coats and Clark XP thread and get a really lovely stitch. Really, really lovely. So we're going to turn it over now. We'll look at that single line of stitching for our lock stitch going through these 3 layers. See if we can get it lined up nice so you can see it. Beautiful stitching. Wow. And that little adjustment we made of bumping up the upper tension, look at the impact that it gave us. We're seeing some really, really nice alignment on the stitches, even going through 3 layers of this upholstery material. The spacing, the formation, the presentation of the stitch is right as it should be. Really, really good looking stitching. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it like this or not. So 3 layers of upholstery material. All in all, I think we had a fabulous success going through those layers and getting some really, really good results. Now we're going to see if we can pivot over to denim. The next request was for denim. So we're going to do denim now. And I believe the maximum denim that we've done so far recently has been 8 layers. So I'm going to do my best to see if we can bump it all the way up to 8 layers and see how this new home Japanese model does against that. Give that a clip real quick. All right, so let's give this a fold in half. And now let's see here. There's 2, there's 4, there's 6, and there's 8. So 8 layers of denim looks like that. And I don't know how many of you have sewn 8 layers of denim and on what kind of machine, but 8 layers of denim I think is a true test of a machine being able to maintain stitch quality. Even at our highest setting for presser foot pressure, we might get a little bit of a shorter stitch, but if we can maintain the integrity and the presentation of the stitch, then we've had a success. Because unless we go to a walking foot or a roller foot, we've done all that we can do at this point. I'm going to see if we can fit it underneath here. I hope we can. Give that a little bit of fold over there. 8 layers of denim. See how we do here. And that's my phone ringing. I've got a call from Minnesota. Ha-ha. Hi, this is Scott. I'm going to call you back. I'm in a live stream right now, if that's okay.
That's all right. No worries.
All right. Thanks so much. Bye. All right. So we've got 8 layers of denim. I don't know if anyone else has done 8 layers of denim before. Usually when you're sewing most garments, you're not going to have 8 layers of denim. But if anyone's done it, type it in the live chat. I'd love to know what your setup was, what kind of machine you were using, and maybe what kind of needle you were using as well. And again, we're using a 9014 Schmetz universal needle today with Coats & Clark dual duty XP thread. So we'll see how this Japanese new home does with what I think most would agree is a serious sew off. All right, here we go. I'm going to get that take up arm all the way up. You can see my take up arm right now. Look at where it is. Take up arm is at the lowest position, so we need to raise it all the way up so we get a nice smooth launch into this heavy sew off. Keep going, Scott. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. A little bit more. There we go. See that? We're just beginning that downstroke, and that's going to give us the greatest likelihood of success against these 8 layers of denim. So, all right, here we go. Let's see how we do. I'm not going to give it a hand start. You're going to be able to see both of my hands over here. And we are going to see how this Japanese-American machine does against this. I'm also going to try to keep the speed down so that I can try to keep it fairly even on the stitching, fairly even, and keep the material relatively straight. All right, here we go. I think I've got it. I think I almost have it. All right, here we go. 8 layers of heavy grade denim. I didn't do too bad, but I kind of went off. Material shifted just a little bit, but not excessively. So I think all in all, we did pretty well on that. But you will notice a little bit of a compression on the stitching. And I could actually measure it comparatively to the other stitching we've been getting. Let me see if I can grab a ruler real quick, and we'll see how many stitches per inch we're getting right now. I'm also going to spritz. I don't know if you noticed that thread was kind of curling up a little bit. The static as the winter sets on and the air becomes drier and drier and drier, the static really becomes an issue when it comes to sewing. It can also affect how your thread feeds and how the thread comes out of the bobbin case, the whole thing. So I'm going to grab a little bottle and spritz a little bit of water on the carpeting underneath me. A little bottle like this. And try to reduce that static factor just a little bit. There we go. All right, let's check out this stitching on these 8 layers of denim, and we'll see what we see. All right, so I would have had it faced like that. So this is our top stitching. We'll look at that first. And then we'll flip it over and look at that lock stitching. All right, here's our top stitching. And I'm seeing a little tilt right there on the third stitch. See that third stitch? There's just a little bit of a tilt up on it. That means if we were going to be sewing 8 layers of denim all day long, we would want to consider backing that upper tension back off again. Remember, we bumped it up? We bumped it up when we were doing that upholstery material. And now it's showing evidence that that bobbin case is struggling just a little bit on that third stitch in to keep it perfectly aligned. Let's see how the rest of the stitches look. That might have just been an anomaly. Good looking stitching. Good looking stitching all the way across. That may have just been an anomaly, but I might still adjust that upper tension back just a tiny little bit again. Yeah, some really good looking stitching. Just that third stitch right there above my finger. We had a little bit of a tilt on that, and that may have just been an anomaly because the rest of the stitching looks really, really good. And again, that's the amount of denim that we just went through right there. Not a light sew off at all. Okay, so that's our top stitching right here. We just looked at that. That's our top stitching. Now we're going to flip it over and look at our lock stitching. This is our lock stitching. I'll see if I can swivel it around. We'll look at it like this. Actually, it was better the other way. This is our lock stitching now. Take a look at that. Yeah. Nice looking lock stitching as well. Nice looking lock stitching. See if we can look at it like this also. Eight layers of heavy grade denim and some page 34 lock stitching all in all. And we could certainly use a denim needle, couldn't we? We could use a denim needle instead of a universal needle to go through that much denim. But we're pushing that universal needle right now just to see if it can get the job done. And clearly it seems to have done, all in all, a very, very good job with this much denim. Very, very good job. So then again is our top stitching, our lock stitching. And that's all we have to say about 8 layers of denim. Maybe we'll have to look at, again, it could be a clearance issue underneath the presser foot, but maybe we'll have to look at stepping it up in one of the future live streams or premieres from 8 layers of denim all the way up to 10 layers of denim. I think that would be super cool. I think that would be super, super cool. Yeah. And it looks like Bill from Minnesota, has a question that possibly Jenny, I think I saw Jenny in the live chat earlier. If Jenny is here and wants to do some quick research to answer Bill's question as to how is a denim needle different from a universal, how could it give us an advantage potentially? That would be a great question for our ambassador to needles, Jenny. If Jenny had to step away or otherwise isn't available, if one of the other folks in the live stream, it could be one of the leaders, it could be whoever, if they want to look up on the Schmetz website and see what are they saying about the denim needle versus the universal needle? How are they different? You know, how is the anatomy of that needle going to give you a slight advantage with denim over potentially? Okay, Jenny's gonna look it up and try to circle back before the end of the live stream. Just give us an answer. As you know, I have no idea right off the top of my head how a denim needle is going to differ in the anatomy and the setup compared to a universal. So we'll see what Jenny comes up with, and then Bill will have the answer. We'll all have the answer because I don't have the answer right now. Like I said, I can't do this without the leadership team, and Jenny's been such a great help to us in getting us to understand needles better and how they can serve us more effectively depending on the project, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so what we have left now, see if I can show you. We have this fake fleece material that's 100% polyester. We've got 100% cotton with quilt batting. We've got 100% cotton, and probably 8 layers of that is what I'm thinking. And then we've got our leather, our genuine cowhide leather that Susie and I just picked up in a bag and kind of cut it up. And I'm thinking with the leather, I'd like to do 2 layers of it and then add that 3rd layer to see if we can step it all the way up to 3 layers. And then finally, we got our Amazon Prime packing paper parchment. And I'm thinking about trying to do 16 layers of that during this live stream today. I think our max so far, and if I'm mistaken, if my recollection is wrong, and we've already done 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing paper parchment, then let me know that. But I think our max so far is 14 layers of that Amazon packing paper. And we might as well take it from 14 to 16. We pushed up our upholstery sew off. We're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until we reach that ceiling of greatness with that particular machine. So that's it. If anyone has input or feelings, oh, Bill was making that's cool. Bill was making a bucket hat with patches for one of his daughters. And I'm not sure if he was using a universal needle or a denim needle, but see what Jenny comes up with. And if Bill wants to clarify what if he was using a denim needle, what size, what brand, that would be great. And if not, what type of needle was he using? And maybe he would have gotten even a better result or an easier result with a denim needle of a certain size. And that really is a factor. You've got to look at the size of the needle in relation to the thread you're using and the material depth as well. There's all kinds of factors to calculate in to get the right recipe for your project and for your sew off outcome. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't see anybody voicing a strong opinion one way or the other. So I think what I'll do is I will do the this charcoal colored 100% cotton with the quilt batting in it. We'll do that next. And I haven't done any stitch length change at all. I think I'll do that on this material. I'll do a longer stitch and then I'll do a slightly shorter stitch. Also, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to back off our presser foot pressure just a little bit. I'm going to take it all the way up and then I'm going to push it down into a range that I think would be a little bit better for 100% cotton. I think that's going to be pretty close. Again, when you're changing material types, you'll want to factor in the presser foot pressure. If you have too much pressure against a certain material, you're going to get that that waviness or that the puckering on the back of the material on the bottom side. That's a presser foot issue generally. So you'll want to just lessen that presser foot pressure as you get to some of the lighter materials. All right, so let's give this a go. I'm going to get a quick swig of soda. And we will do this next sew off. Okay, yeah, so Bill circled back and he said that he was using a size 14 Schmetz universal with Coates and Clark type stitch type thread. So he was using a universal. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Jenny comes up with as far as how does that universal differ from a denim, if in any way. And then we'll kind of go from there. So Jenny's come back with the size thing. Really, what I'm looking for, if we can determine it, is I'd love to get how the needles differ. In other words, do they have different points? The universal, for example, a universal like this one we're using today, is going to have a slightly rounded point. If we can get into the features of there we go. So it's got a reinforced blade, the denim one does. That would definitely help you. And it's got a medium ball point. So the points are going to be similar on the two needles. The universal is going to have a medium type ball point as well. It's going to be slightly rounded. But I think the denim is going to have even a more rounded one. And Jenny, correct me if I'm wrong. We're looking at rounded points usually so that it doesn't create damage to the material. Is that right? Is that why we're rounding the points generally? Oh, okay. And Jenny is also saying the advanced point design is a Schmetz exclusive. I did not know that. Bill's going to give him a try. So yeah, Bill will have to circle back and showing the same type of material, same type of project, let us know what difference that denim will make with that reinforced exclusive point. And yeah, it'll be cool to hear that. It'll be cool to hear that. Definitely. All right, cool. Thanks. Thank you, Jenny, for looking that stuff up for us. Appreciate that. All right, so let's focus now on this cotton with this quilt batting. And we'll lay down 2 stitch rows. We'll lay down a longer stitch row, and then I'll shorten that stitch length up, and we'll do another stitch row next to it and see what we think of that. And I am going to back off that upper tension just a little bit as we change material types too. All right, here we go. 2 layers of 100% cotton with a layer of quilt batting in between. Here we go. Yeah, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I made that little upper tension adjustment real quick. I think it served us well on this sew off. So again, we have 100% cotton with a layer of quilt batting. We'll take a look at this. But first of all, let me lay down another stitch line next to it, much shorter than the first. Get this back in line. And again, the adjustment on this machine is very simple. This is our stitch length regulator right over here. So I'm just going to bring it up. I'll bring it up to right about there. And it should be probably about 12 to 15 stitches per inch. Let's go ahead and get this line back up. I'll get my take-up arm all the way up. And let's do this next stitch row on this 100% cotton with quilt batting. All right, here we go. I can tell by how that material is moving that I adjusted it up higher than I realized. We're going to be much shorter than 12 to 15 stitches per inch. Much shorter. Much, much, much shorter. Much shorter. I'll have to adjust that again. We are probably like 20 stitches per inch. I'm going to adjust it back down again, and we'll try that one more time. Try that one more time. Okay, let's give this a go again. See, we get a little bit closer to that 10 to 12 stitches per inch, somewhere in that range. All right, this is take 2. Take 2 or take 3 of 100% cotton and quilt batting. Here we go. Well, that's a little bit closer, but I'm still a ways off. I'm determined to see if I can get a little bit closer. I did better that time, but still a ways off. This stitch length adjuster on here is very, very sensitive. And apparently I went too far with it. I'm still getting static electricity on that thread. A lot of static electricity. All right, let's try this take 4. Yeah. Take 4. See if we can get it this time. All right. So we're aiming for around 10 to 12 stitches per inch. Let's see if I can get it this time. And I should mention, just to give me the benefit of the doubt, the stitch length regulator on here does not have numbers. You can see that yourself. It doesn't have numbers on here, and this doesn't correlate with it as far as telling you what your stitch length is. So you're kind of spitballing a little bit here, almost like the Singer thumb screw ones where you turn them out and turn them in, but you have no way of really knowing what your stitch length is per se. So I'm going to bump it down a little bit further. Hopefully we'll be a little bit closer than we were the first 2 times. And I can get a little bit closer to that 10 to 12 stitches per inch. Let's give it a try one last time. Ha ha! That's getting closer to what I was looking for, but I'm still not quite there yet. We'll take a look at what we have and stop at this point. But yeah, that's the only downfall is when you think about that stitch length regulator on the Singer 1591 that we recently looked at, it's got number points on that plate. So it gives you a little bit more of an ability to zero in. On this Japanese one, they don't specifically give you numbers on their plate so you can tell what your stitch length is set at. You just have to kind of guesstimate it a little bit. So we'll see what you think of this stitching after our many efforts to get closer to that 10 to 12. Okay, let's take a look at this. You can see that second row down. Holy mackerel. I went down to a normal range that I thought would be appropriate, and I was way, way, way off. You can see that's probably 20 to 25 stitches per inch on that second row down. But our top row is going to be on the longer length, and I think all in all, we've got a good-looking stitch look at all 4 rows at the same time. Let's look at it like this too. Sometimes gives us a little bit better gauge of it. Couple little tilts on the longest stitch. Couple little tilts. Tilt it back a little bit so we can see the light on there. Yeah, all in all, I would say some good looking stitching. With any material shift, we might make some subtle adjustments if we were going to be sewing a lot of this material. But all in all, some good stitch outcomes on this Japanese American new home. So let's turn over and look at the lock stitch. We'll look at the lock stitch now and see what we think of that. There we go. Hold it real still and bring it across that way. Yeah, so I think we've got some really good stitch quality here. When you get down into the 20 to 25 or 30 stitches per inch, and you're sewing with a size 90, let me move my fingers. You're sewing with a size 90 14 needle, you're going to lose a little bit of that clarity of stitch when you get down to that tiny, tiny range. You just do. We would be better off with a 7511 embroidery needle to get into that lower range of the second row. But all in all, some really, really good looking stitching. Yeah, yeah. So 100% cottonwood quilt batting. I think that the machine did a good job. I really do. Both with that stitch and then also the top stitch as well. The top stitch, I think we could tighten it up a little bit more by backing off that upper tension, maybe even a little bit more. But all in all, some really, really good looking stitching, I think. So, all right, let's take a look now at the materials we have left. Take a look at the materials we have left. I'm going to give a little bit of an interlude of music if that's okay. My voice is a little bit scratchy today. I'm going to see if I can rest it just for a few seconds, and then we'll continue on with the remaining sew-offs. All right, I'm going to pause Mozart for a little bit. Also, hope it looks like Emma is stepping away for a quilting class. That's so cool. I'm glad that she's taking time to do that. I know she shared with me on more than one occasion that she wanted to develop more sewing skills, learn quilting, and just learn some other sewing stuff to apply to her 20 plus machines. So I'm glad that Emma's finally doing that. I'm guessing that that was probably on her New Year's resolution list. That's a great thing to put on a New Year's resolution list for sure. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to move on now to, I think, why don't we do that fake fleece stuff? We'll do the fake fleece stuff next and see if we can zip down that. In a previous premiere live stream, I had sewn 2 layers of this stuff. And then I talked about doing 4 layers, which I never did. So I think I need to remember to do that this time. And maybe the way I can remember to do it is to grab my scissors, cut this. We'll sew 2 layers, and then we'll add 2 more layers to it to see how this new home Japanese American made machine does with that. All right, so just cut that. We'll start with 2 layers, and then we'll bump it up to 4 and see how this new home does. Okay, let me get that down. And I don't think I showed you guys. I probably should. That would be nice. I talked about the fact that compared to the 1591, we're aligning the needle the opposite. So the flat side is going to the right, not to the left, like on the 1591. Also that we're putting the bobbin in the opposite way so that the thread is going underneath the bottom and it's turning counterclockwise. Whereas on the 1591, when we put the bobbin in the bobbin case and that thread is dispensing in the sewing process, it was turning clockwise on the Singer 1591. Now, I think what we need to do is look at the threading on this machine real quick as well, just so you've seen it and it makes sense. So I'll try to do that real quick. So coming off the back of the machine where our Coates and Clark dual duty thread is right there, we're coming across here, and there's not just a thread guide, but there's actually a swivel type thread guide that you can actually house the thread inside of there, which I think is brilliant because thread can sometimes hop out of there on these class 15s. And with it swiveled inside of there, it's going to stay in place much more securely. And then after we come off of here, we drop down to the upper tension and we go around the back side of the discs. Always make sure your presser foot lever is in the up position so there's no pressure on the discs. We come around the bottom of the tension back over to here. And we're going to actually go all the way back over here and bring the thread into that little spot right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's see if I move my finger. There it is. We're actually going to bring that thread around the bottom of the tension and then bring it into that little saddle area right there. See if I put my finger there, it'll make it focus a little bit better. There we go. And once you draw the thread through that little saddle, you're going to draw it up through the take-up spring right here. Draw it through the take-up spring. Bring it then straight up to the take-up arm and thread the take-up arm from left to right. Then you come down through here, through that thread guide right there on the faceplate. And then you're going to come down to another thread guide right here, adjacent to the needle. You can see that. There it is. That thread guide right there. We'll draw that thread in from right to left. And then we're going to be threading this needle from left to right. Threading the needle from left to right. Remember when we were working with that 1591, we were doing the opposite, weren't we? We were going right to left. So everything is opposite for the most part on this Japanese new home compared to the last class 15 that we presented. Exactly the opposite. Okay. So let's try these 2 layers of this real fluffy fleece, this super fluffy fleece, and then we'll move on and add 2 more layers, which I intended to do in the last premiere, and I forgot to do it. Bring my take-up arm all the way up, and now we're going to go through these 2 layers, and then we'll add 2 more. All right, here we go. My hands are so cold, they're not working very well. All right, here we go. Oh, I forgot to adjust. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to adjust the stitch length. So I'm going to adjust it. The needle is clear of the material. I'm going to adjust it to a longer stitch so we can see it more easily. So we're going to have about 4 or 5 stitches that are super short, and the rest will be the normal length. So just so you can watch for that. All right, here we go. Let's try it again. All right. Oh, yeah. Those are definitely shorter. We got about 4 or 5 stitches. 4 or 5 stitches right here that are like teeny tiny little baby stitches. And then I increased that stitch. Yeah. You guys know what I'm saying. All right. Let's pull that out. Take a look at these stitches, long and short. And then we'll move on to adding those 2 additional layers. It really is amazing to me, textile industry and the manufacturers that can take the same material and they can make it look so utterly different. They can make it look so utterly different. The fact that this is 100% polyester, but if you look at it, if you touch it, it feels absolutely like fleece. Absolutely like fleece. That's actually not a bad angle right there, is it? I could zoom in on it, which I can't do with the live stream camera. So I'm going to have to pick the material up and look at it this way. That's okay. All right. So we've got our fake fleece material, 100% polyester. Let's take a look at those teeny tiny little stitches that I did initially, which are absolutely spectacular. Look at that. Well, you could see it for a second anyway. Come on, come on. Come on, camera, be nice. It's saying, I don't want to focus now. I don't want to focus now. There it is. So some beautiful little teeny tiny stitches, and we're going to go across. We'll look at these stitches on this fake fleece material. Very, very nice. Very, very nice stitching. All right, let's go like this. Let's look at it like this. I'll pull it back a little bit. Very nice stitching. Beautiful stitching. Yeah, this fake fleece material just blows me away. How realistic it is. How realistic it is. All right, let's look at that lock stitch. I'll kind of turn it around now. Look at that lock stitch. I got that little fluffy thing off of there. Very, very nice. Beautiful stitching. Holy mackerel. And these stitches are nicely aligned. As I touch this real fragile, fluffy stuff, it tends to pitch around the stitches a little bit. So look at them closely because the alignment's very, very good. It's just that the material kind of shifts a little bit, doesn't it? Let's take a look at those. There's those tiny little ones in the front. Very, very nice. All right, let's add those other 2 layers. So we're up to 4 layers, and we'll see how this Japanese American made new home accomplishes that. All right, so I've got those 2. I'm going to add 2 more. Get us up to 4 layers. Hopefully I can fit it underneath there easily enough. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. There's 4 layers of it. And I am going to bump up my presser foot pressure just a little bit. Actually, I'm not. I think that's enough. I'm seeing when that presser foot goes down and pushes on it, I'm seeing the compression of that fake fleece. That's going to be enough pressure. I'm not going to add any more. All right, so let's do this. Let's go through these 4 layers now, which was on my bucket list from the last premiere, and we'll see how we do on this. Just deciding if I want to make any adjustment. I want to make any adjustment to that upper tension before we sew this. I'm going to leave it the way it is, I think. No, I'm not. I'm going to bump it down just a hair. Going down just a tiny little bit on the upper tension to give us a little bit more top stitch definition. All right, here we go. 4 layers of 100% polyester made to look like fleece. For the first time, we've done this on the channel. It's kind of cool. All right, here we go. Nice and slow, nice and slow. All right, see how we did. Ah, interesting, interesting. Yeah, this will be fun to look at. I'm going to put a little dot on there so we remember exactly which row we're working with. This is our second row. Second row is right there. Second row is right here. Okay, let's take a look at these. So now we're dealing with 4 layers of fleece. You can see the way they manufacture that stuff. That is fluffy duffy right there. That's super fluffy. There it is. Can't even push them together. You're still looking at a fluffy duffy there. Yeah, okay. So this is our top stitching. We'll look at this first. Bottom row is our second row that we just did. see, maybe I can do it like this a little bit easier. And I pull it back. This is our second row. Nice stitching. Very, very nice stitching. Ooh la la. Yeah. So adjusting back that upper tension was the right choice before launching, because look at that top stitching. Absolutely as it should be. Absolutely as it should be. I know I'm going backwards. I just got so excited. I went backwards. Ha! Yeah. Beautiful stitching. And we didn't lose anything. If you look at the stitch on the bottom row compared to the first row we did through 2 layers, we've got just as much fullness of that stitch in the stitch length. Just absolutely gorgeous stitching. Trying to pull it without distorting the stitch. There it is. Come out and play. Come out and play. There you are. You're a beautiful stitch. Show yourself. Show yourself. Ha! Yeah, so beautiful top stitch. And again, in relation to the first row that we did, it maintained the stitch spacing and the integrity, the formation of the stitch beautifully. So let's turn it around now. Look at all that stuff. Holy mackerel. It needs a haircut or something. Holy moly. All right, now let's look at that lock stitch through these 4 layers. We're only going to have 1 row because we added the other 2. Let's pull that one back and see what we got there. Oh, yeah. Hello. Hello, you. Nice stitching. Ooh. Yeah. So now we've done 4 layers of this fake fleece stuff. And this Japanese American new home has done a brilliant job. Done a brilliant job. Trying to get really close here. Yeah. Hello there. Come on out. Come on out. Come on out. Don't be afraid. No one's going to bite you. There you are. Yeah. See if I can I do it easier that way? I probably can do it easier that way, can't I? This again is our lock stitch. It's our lock stitch. I don't know why I didn't hold it like this to begin with. It's so much easier. Jiminy crickets. Beautiful stitching. Beautiful stitching. Hello. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Very nice. That's a lot of material, no matter how you slice and dice it. Look at that. So yeah, some beautiful results with this 100% fake fleece from 100% real polyester all the way across. Beautiful stitching. Lovely, 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 lovely. Yeah, pull it that way, buddy. It's easier. It's easier that way. Oh, baby. So yeah, go to your Dollar Tree. If you have a Dollar Tree near you, they had these available as scarves for $1.25, and you get a ton of fake fleece material for a lot less than real fleece. And just make some fun projects with them, with the kiddos or with the grandkids or strangers walking down the street. You know, who knows what? But you can make some fun stuff for sure. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and sew these 8 layers of 100% cotton. Why don't we do that next? See how I'm going to do it lengthwise, probably. So there's 2, 4, 6. Oh, maybe I'll go more than that. Maybe I'll go more than that. We've been stepping everything up in this live stream. We've been doing more fleece. We've been doing more of this, doing more of that. We did more upholstery material. So maybe we'll do, instead of 6 layers of this, maybe we'll do 8, huh? 2, 4, 6, 8. Let me fold that again. I did a horrible job. Let me try that again. 2, 4. We're starting with 2. Ha! 4, 6, 8. Ha ha! I did it. So that's 8 layers now of 100% cotton. Let's try that. I think we normally do 6. We might as well do more, right? Let's do 8 layers of 100% cotton. But what I'm going to do first is put on a little bit more music. Put on just a little bit more music. And yeah, let's do some more Mozart. All right, that's a good place to pause. All right, let's go ahead and do these 8 layers. I have to adjust my thinking now from 6 layers to 8 layers of 100% cotton. And then the only sew-offs we have left then is the leather sew-offs and the Amazon Prime packing parchment paper. Pa 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 pa. Yeah. All right, so let's do this 100% cotton. And yeah, we're getting close to the finish line. Yes, close to the finish line. Here we go. Oh, let me adjust the camera a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of a glare. Here we go. That hit that 8 layers like that hit that 8 layers of cotton, and it kind of hit it a little bit hard, kind of like, whoa, that's a lot of cotton. Yeah, it is. It is a lot of cotton. Oh, and I see something. Ha ha. I see that with these 8 layers of cotton that we could benefit from a little bit more pull up from the upper tension. We kind of backed it off a little bit before to give a little bit more to that top stitch. We got a beautiful top stitch here on this 100% cotton. But our lock stitch, let me hold it like this. Our lock stitch, when I turn it over, it's okay. It's really good, but it could be even better. Yeah, I think we'll leave it, but we could adjust that upper tension back up a little bit again. Let's see what we think of this. Hold on a second. All right, let me back the camera up. 8 layers of cotton. 8 layers of cotton. Let's see here. Had it like that. That's our top stitch. Top stitch. Come on, camera. Yes. See, the camera really loves this color material, doesn't it? It goes, I love the brown. The brown is my favorite. It's my favorite. Because it has no issue with focusing on it at all. That's gorgeous stitching, folks. Look at that. Jiminy crickets. If you're making a product with cotton and you've got a top stitch like that, you are going to sell everything. You're going to sell everything. Yeah, you are. take a look at it like this too. Absolutely gorgeous. That is a brag-worthy top stitch, folks. If you can get a top stitch like that, run around the neighborhood and show it to all your neighbors, your friends, your family. Have them come over and have a party for that top stitch, because that's exactly what we want to be seeing. When we can see it, that is. The camera's going, I don't know if I want to, I've been focusing on that long enough. I'm getting really bored. Go to the lock stitch. Okay, we'll go to the lock stitch. We'll circle back. So here's the lock stitch, and it's really a great lock stitch, but I think we could do probably even better. We made a little bit of an adjustment. Let's take a look at that. Very, very nice lock stitch. Yeah, I don't know that I would change anything. I don't know. I might tweak it a little bit, but I think I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty doggone happy with that lock stitch. I'm very, very happy with that top stitch. Very, very nice. And again, that's what 8 layers of cotton looks like. You don't see this very often. You don't. But that's some serious, serious sewing. Like I said, when that needle hit this, it was like, ugh, ugh. That's a lot of cotton to get through. A lot of cotton. But like Susie and I were talking about recently, she said, Scott, when you go over the seams and the joining points sometimes, you're going over 8 layers. So it's not like like you saw the Loch Ness monster. It's not that unusual, but it still is a shocker to the machine, because the machine is used to seeing cotton as an easy peasy type thing. And all of a sudden you hit it with 8 layers and it's going like, whoa, I didn't feel that coming. I should have stretched before we exercised. Yeah. But between the top stitch, which is gorgeous, and the lock stitch, which is also gorgeous, 8 layers of cotton just takes on a new meaning, doesn't it? It takes on a brand new meaning. So far, let me show you what we've done just for fun, because that's really why we do these live streams, is to feature the greatness of the machine and also to have fun. This is what we've done so far on this live stream. All of this, the carpeting, the cotton, where is it? The carpeting, the cotton, the upholstery material, the 8 layers of denim, I believe it was, the 100% cotton with quilt batting, and then this fake fleece stuff. We went through 4 layers of that and laid down absolutely gorgeous stitching. Now, what we are going to do next is, yeah, I like Melissa's idea. Melissa, you're brilliant. You're a genius. Cozy fleece slippers. Yeah. The address here at the workshop is, I'm just kidding. If Susie wants to give you our P.O. box mailing address and you want to make some really cool fleece slippers and send them to the workshop, I'll show them on a live stream. I will. I'll even put them on my feet, but they've got to be really big. Does anyone remember what size shoes I wear? They're ridiculous. They're like Herman Munster shoes. I have to signal with my right hand and turn before I make a corner, because I'll take out like 3 or 4 children. I will. Yeah, size 12. It's embarrassing, but it's true. All right, so let's do some of this genuine cowhide that we just got. This is like the thick of the thick of the thick. Got 3 layers of it. I don't know if I'll do 3 layers, but I might. I might do 3 layers. I might. Hey, it's Kathy King. Kathy just had a birthday on Sunday like me. My birthday was on Sunday and Kathy's was on Sunday. We have the same birthday. How cool is that? Happy birthday to Kathy. I feel like we should sing happy birthday, don't you? Let me see if I have happy birthday on my phone. Hold on a second. I think I do. I might have happy birthday on the phone. Let's see here. Where is it? I'll probably get like flagged for it or something. To you, happy birthday. To you, happy birthday, dear Kathy and Scott. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, baby. Happy birthday. Birthdays are a big deal. So if you're in a live stream, or in a premiere and it's your birthday, don't keep it to yourself. Let us know so we can celebrate the fact of your birth. You know what? You were born and there's no one like you, and the world is better because of you. So if you have a birthday like Kathy and I did, share it. Share it. If you have a birthday today, let us know right now. Please. We want to celebrate your birthday. It's a big deal. Yeah, it is. I think it is. Might be. But yeah, it is. All right. Cool. All right. So we're going to do, since I've never sewn this stuff before, I've literally never sewn it before. I'm going to do a single layer. Then I'm going to add a second layer. Then I'm going to add a third layer. Holy mackerel. We've got layers everywhere. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should just go for 2 layers. What do you guys think? Should we stop messing around and just go like 2 layers and then add a third layer, since we're stepping everything up in this live stream? We should just do 2 layers and then do a third layer, right? That's what we should do. Probably, maybe. Yeah, why not? Okay, so let's do that. Let's go with 2 layers of genuine cowhide. It's going to look something like that. The thick of thick of thick. There it is. That's pretty thick stuff, folks. That's like a belt. That's like a thick belt that we're going to do. We're going to do 2 layers of this, and then we're going to contemplate adding a third layer to this on this machine. We'll see. But again, I'm not using a leather needle. I am not using a leather needle. I'm using a universal needle. So I don't know if that's a good idea. And since Schmetz follows us on Facebook and on YouTube, I might get a nasty note from one of their big shots saying, would you stop sewing leather with our universal needles? The universal needles have a slightly rounded point. They're not even serrated and sharp. Why are you sewing leather with them? Because we can. That's why. It's somewhere in the Constitution, the freedom to sew leather with a universal needle. Check it. Go to your local museum, your history place, check the Constitution, read the fine print. We are endowed with inalienable rights to show the sewing of leather with a universal needle. Yeah. And if we break the needle, we've got more. Yeah, we do. All right. So let's see what happens. 2 layers of genuine cowhide on this Japanese American new home. There she is right there. New home machine. Let's see if we can do this. I hope I didn't do something silly like go further than I was supposed to, because I never tested this before. Yeah, they can. Kathy King said it right. A whole universe. I want to do the echo voice when I do that, though. She said, universal needles can sew a whole universe of fabrics. But on universe, you've got to go universe. I can't do it very well. I wish I had like an echo thing to do it. But you know what I'm saying. All right. So let's give it a go and let's see what happens. 2 layers of genuine cowhide on this Japanese American new home. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. All right. All right, just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. You can do this. You can do it. You can do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Yeah. Maybe you can't do it. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Oh, Jiminy, slow down, buddy. Slow down. You're all excited. You're all excited. Don't be that excited. Holy mackerel. I'll tell you one thing, though. The machine hit that. I didn't give it enough gas. Did you see the needle stop? The needle stopped. It was like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Oh. All right. Let's see if we got through. We did get through. Sort of. All right. Have to find more of these bags to cut up that are genuine cowhide. It really does test the machine nicely. Test the machine. I don't know if I think I might stop on 2 layers. I think 3 layers might be a little bit insane. I think it's going to be insane. Let's check it out. Let's see how we did. All right, here we go. Here we go. 2 layers of genuine cowhide. There's our top stitch. It's coming into focus. Any moment now, it's coming into focus. Focus, focus. Believe in yourself. Come on, camera. Yes, there you are. There you are. Aha. So Kathy and I both agree that you can sew a wide universe of materials with a universal needle made by Schmetz. Our friends at Schmetz know what they're doing. Yes, they do. That's our top stitching. I like it better like this. Let's look at it like that. All right, come on. You can do it, camera. Don't focus on my fingers. Focus on the stitches. Come on. All right, there you go. There you go. Oh, come on, baby. Come on, come on. Drift over that way. Drift over. Drift over. You got it. You got it. Come on. 0 in. Yay. All right, come on. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Come on. Come on, camera. Whoa. Whoa. Come on. Ah, that works. Now I know what to do. All right, now we're going to tilt it. We're not going to tell it that we're tilting it because that's all the leather we just went through right there. Look at that. Look at that. Little bit crazy. Little bit. Oh, look at those stitches. They're even beautiful upside down. Upside down stitching. Hey, that's an idea. I should try that. I should try stitching upside down and see what happens. I really should. All right, what about the lock stitch? We've looked at that side long enough. Here's our lock stitch. We're locking the stitch. Oh, yeah. Hello. 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 All right, let's look at it like this too. Yeah, come on. Work it, work it, work it, work it. Lean a little bit to the left, lean a little bit to the left. Look at the little tuft where the needle cuts through there, sort of, kind of, but it's not really a cutting needle. It's not really a cutting needle. It's a slightly rounded point, and it's still getting its way through that leather. Look at that little tuft thing going on there. I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it or not. How about right out to there? There, you can see it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what we just did right there. All right, let's look at it like that. That's fun. There's stitching. And stitching. All right. I don't think I'm going to do 3 layers. I think that's a little bit too much. Unless I get a leather needle. Then if I get a leather needle, I'll do three layers. That's our lock stitch again. Really some beautiful stitching. That's our top stitch. Yeah. I'm going to pick up some Schmetz leather needles and we'll circle back to this with another machine and we'll do 3 layers of this, but I think 2 is enough for right now. So far on this live stream, if you lost track or if you dozed off, we sewed carpeting, outdoor carpeting. We sewed 8 layers of 100% cotton. We sewed 3 layers of upholstery material. We sewed 8 layers, I believe, of genuine denim, heavy grade denim. We sewed, what is this? Quilt batting and cotton right there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We sewed this fake fleece. That's actually 100% polyester, 4 layers of that. And we just sewed through these 2 layers of genuine cowhide. Where is it? There it is. Genuine cowhide for a sew-off Olympics that anyone would say, wow, that's crazy, man. So, but we're still going to be crazy a little bit more. We got to do Amazon packing parchment paper. And then we're going to do our final sew-off with the William Tell Overture Final, blah, 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 that Tim requested when we do our sewing in a circle. At least that's my plan. I hope it's my plan. All right. So let's do this. Let's do our parchment paper next. And if you're brand new to this channel, when you order something from Amazon, they use paper similar to this or identical to it, and they wrap up your stuff so that it doesn't get damaged. Paper like leather is incredibly high on the piercing threshold. Incredibly high on the piercing threshold. So when you can go through 10, 12 layers of this paper with a universal needle that has a rounded point, that's crazy impressive. Well, we've actually done 14 layers, and today I think we might try 16 layers. We might try it. You never know. So let's see if I can fold that many layers without taking my shoes and socks off and counting. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to put it like that. All right, so that's 2 layers. Let's see, 4 layers. 6 layers, 8 layers, 10 layers, 12 layers, 14 layers, 16 layers. 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper. 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper. Oh, Kathy King asked, what causes a tilted stitch? It is a tension issue. And I mentioned that a little bit earlier in the live stream. If you are sewing something and that top stitch looks a little bit tilted at certain points, that means that your bobbin case is not pulling down hard enough. If you turn it over and you look at your lock stitch and certain stitches are tilted a little bit, that means your upper tension is not pulling hard enough to straighten that stitch out. So that is going to be 99.99999999999% time going to be an issue of the tension factor, Kathy. That's what's going to cause the tilted stitch. All right, let me cut this excess off. All right, I've never ever tried 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper before. I've never tried it. Never have. So I don't know what's going to happen. We might bend the needle. We might break a needle. The machine might just say, are you utterly insane? Why am I sewing 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper? Why? Why? Because it's our inalienable right to sew Amazon Prime packing parchment paper in America. It's in the Constitution. It is. All right, let's give this a go. See what happens. So we are about to attempt for the first time in the history of this channel, for the first time, we are going to attempt to sew through 16 layers. 16 layers. I'm going to type it in the live chat. 16. We're going to be sewing through 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper. Never have we done this before on this channel. I don't know what's going to happen. No idea. So let's see what happens. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. A little bit. That's okay. All right, here we go. Most people would do this like a pre-recorded thing. I do it as a live stream because it's crazy. That's why it's crazy. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Amazon. Yeah, like Kathy just wrote. Amazon, P. Ha ha. All right, here we go. Let me get that foot controller in so I can give a little bit extra gas. And let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rocky. Rocky. No, it's another movie. Adrian. Adrian. All right, here we go. Come on, baby. Come on. You can do it. Yeah, you can. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You're a Schmetz. You're a Schmetz. You're a Schmetz. For the first time in the history of this channel, we have sewn, to your amazement, and I feel like I'm at a circus right now. Center stage, yeah. But we just did 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper. Yeah, the needle's getting tired. The needle, well put, Susie. The needle's been getting beat up a lot already. And we just went through 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper. Unbelievable. Let's look at these stitches. As Susie pointed out, with a tiring needle, how did we do? How did we do? Let's take a look. Again, 16 layers. Let me see if I can show it to you. Come on, camera. 16 layers. That's crazy. Look at that, folks. That's insane. That's call the Looney Tunes people with a straitjacket that we just sewed through 16 layers of Amazon packing prime paper, pumpernickel, Peter Piper picked a peck of peppered pickles paper. We just did it. 16 layers. Now, what do we get for a stitch? Here's our top stitch. Here's our top stitch. Ah! Ha ha! Woo! Why do we love Amazon? No, why do we love Schmetz? Why do we love Schmetz? It's because of reasons like this, where you can take a needle that's already run a marathon and face it with one of the most difficult sew-offs that you can give, and it still performs top shelf. Unbelievable. And that is a product of the needle and the machine and the workshop magic working together. Anyone wants to try this, videotape it and I'll post it. I'll share it in a live stream. Because going through 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper is absolutely insane. That's our top stitch again. We're still going. It's a long piece of paper, folks. It's a long, there we got the end. So absolutely page 34 plus stitching, going through for the first time in the history of this channel, 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper. Beautiful stitching. If you've never sewn on paper before, order something from Amazon and save the paper. Save the paper. How's our lock stitch look? Let's turn it over. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And there's our little bullet hole thing coming through. The needle passing through all those layers of parchment. All those layers of parchment. No skip stitches, no stitch distortion, just near perfection. Near perfection. Unbelievable. So I know what you're thinking. So what, Scott? Are you going to do 18 layers the next time? Are you going to do 18 layers? Are you? I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Got to think about it. Okay, I thought about it. We'll probably do it. Yeah, we'll probably will. My goal is eventually to get up to, my goal eventually is to get up to 20. My goal is to get up to 20 layers. I want to do 20 layers and deliver stitching like this. That's my goal, 20. We're at 16, 4 more layers, if we can do it. Imagine what that's going to look like. You see that? Wow. Wow. Ha ha. All right. So what have we done so far on this live stream? Quick recap. Just a quick recap. We just did 16 layers. We just did 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper. We sewed outdoor carpeting. We sewed 8 layers of 100% cotton. We sewed this upholstery material, 3 layers of that. We sewed this 100% cotton with quilt batting. We sewed 4 layers of fake fleece, which is 100% polyester. And then we sewed also this genuine cowhide as well. This genuine cowhide stuff right there. This is what we've done on the live stream to show that this Japanese American new home is ready to graduate from the workshop. The final thing we have to do now is with the William Tell Overture. I better drink something. My tongue is sticking to the roof of my mouth. We're going to do the William Tell Overture for the first time, the finale, at Tim's request from Thorpe, Wisconsin. I should say Tim and Teresa because they're a team. When one issues a challenge or an invitation, the other one is issuing it too. So at Tim and Teresa's prompting, we're going to do our final Sew Off in a Circle to the William Tell Overture finale. Yeah, I think we are, if I can find it. Otherwise, that was a lot of buildup for nothing. So there you go. But this is the way to do it. Don't you agree? You can go to other YouTube channels and they sew one of these things, but not even to this extent. And they consider it a done deal. When we are going to graduate a machine from the workshop after it's gone through workshop magic, we are going to push that machine to the very summit. You know, like running that last leg of the marathon, you're totally spent. You have no energy left. Your muscles are worn out. They're fatigued. You got nothing to give. But you give it anyway at that last leg and you cross the finish line victoriously. We're almost at the finish line. We're almost there. We're so close. I can see it. I can see the finish line. Yeah, it's almost there. Ha! So close. So close. Oh, we also did this one. I left this one out. We did this 100% cotton too. Yeah, did that one too. It's a Schmetz needle. What do you expect? It's a Schmetz needle. Schmetz! Yeah! All right. Let's see what happens. Last little swig of soda. Now let me see if I can find the William Tell Overture. See if I can find it. See if we can find it. All right, I'm gonna have to look it up again. William Tell Overture finale. Whoa, I didn't see that one before. How long does that run? Yeah, this is the one I want. Perfect. 2 minutes and 6 seconds. I should be able to sew in a circle in 2 minutes and 6 seconds. All right, let's see what happens. Check the volume. Bring the volume back up. All right. So the final sew off on this live stream with Shelly's amazing Japanese American new home machine, the machine that Shelly learned to sew on. She learned how to sew on this machine. We are now going to do our final sew off after beating this Schmetz needle to death. Beating the Schmetz needle to death. Now we're going to sew through about 3 to 4 ounces of genuine cowhide to the William Tell Overture finale. And if this isn't the one that Tim wanted, this is the one that I found. So we're going to go with this one this time, and then he can send me a link if he has another one that he wants me to try to play. We'll see. Yeah. All right. Let me get this rolling, and then we'll get sewing. All right. Here we go. Come on, play for us. Come on, you can do it. Sounds like the Lone Ranger. That's as loud as my phone goes. I'm sorry. Oops, I think I just, hold on a second. I'm going to have to start this over. I think I just ran out of bobbin thread, maybe. Hold on, let me pause this. Hold on a second. Or I just totally killed the Schmetz needle, one of the two. Make sure the thread is feeding. Make sure nothing's come on thread. Everything looks like it's threaded properly. Gotta start this over. Gotta start it over. Okay. Hold on a second. We may have gotten a burr on the needle. I'll try it one more time. If we get the same result, I might do a quick change out on the needle before we do this final finale. Schmetz is nearly bulletproof, but the way I beat this needle up, you just never know. You never know. It sounds like our bobbin. Let me check our bobbin real quick. Hold on a second. Oh, the same thing happened before. Ha ha. It's so classic. It's so classic with the class 15s. Look at what happened. Our thread, can you see it? Our thread shifted out of position again. This happens sometimes just as a result of the size of the bobbin. You got this huge bobbin. So we're going to rethread the bobbin. That's what happened. That's what happened. Rethread the bobbin again. Again, the thread underneath, so it's turning counterclockwise. Now it's in the correct position again under there. Now we'll see if we can rethread this, pull the thread up, and give this a go again. We'll start the music over again. No fun having big hands sometimes. There we go. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. We're on live camera. Don't be silly now. Hold on. That's the only thing with these class 15s. They're so bulky. Sometimes can't get them to snap in. That thread kind of gets in the way a little bit. We'll get it. We'll get it. All right, I'm going to try this again. See, this is the beauty of live streaming is, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff happen, right? All kinds of crazy stuff. All right, I think I snapped it in that time. Nope, I didn't. Ah! And the bobbin just ran away. Let me grab my magnet. This is really fun. This is a bad dream that I had. Yeah. All right, come over here. Come over here, you silly thing. You can't get away. Don't try to run. Don't try to run. Don't try to run. All right. All right, let's try this again. See, if we'd done the 1812 overture, it probably would have been fine, but now we're doing the William Tell overture, and all of a sudden this thing is going, I don't want to cooperate anymore. I don't want to play nice. I don't want to play nice. All right, let's try this again. Let's try it again. This bobbin case is giving me a hard time. I'm going to put on some more music while I'm trying to battle this thing. Hold on. Come on. Come on. Oh, what did I just do? I hit the wrong button entirely. Finally, I think. That worked out perfectly. I got to the very end of the finale, right as I got the machine rethreaded again, but that wasn't the goal. The goal was to try to sew.
Seniors on Medicare.
Seniors on Medicare?
Benefit card after stores
No,
like
no, no, no. We don't want that right
Target,
now.
CVS.
No, 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 no. Come on, give us back the William Tell. That's what we were looking for. All right. Well, that's okay. Challenges are part of the process, aren't they? Part of the process. We're snapped in, it looks like. Now we can try sewing this again. Now we can try sewing this again. Maybe. All right. That's down. All right. Take 2, William Tell Overture Finale. My thread. Focus, focus, focus. There we go. And I think my thread just came out again. I'm going to stop there. Hold on. Trying to pause this. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. Hold on a second. I thought my bobbin thing popped out again, but it didn't. Hold on. See, if you change music, it just throws everything off. Tim, Tim, why did you give me William Tell? Why? All right, let's get that over here. We're not going to give up. We're not going to be beat by this William Tell overture. It's not going to happen. All right, let's get that over there. All right, I'll give this one more try. Let's try to get some more of this stitching off. And then we're going to consider the William Tell having won. So here we go. You spin it back a little bit. Check the threading. Threading looks good. Here we go. Wait. Yes. All right, that was a little bit of a battle, but I think we got it. So the final sew off to the William Tell overture, again, another first for the first time on this genuine cowhide. After battling a bobbin and a bobbin case and all kinds of other fun stuff, high old silver away, we finally got it. We finally got it. Ha! So genuine cowhide, it's in there somewhere, the stitching. Yeah, little something right there. Just ignore that. That's where the thread was pulling too hard. But some beautiful results. All right, recap all of the crazy chaos of what we pulled on this live stream today with this final sew off, which is spectacular, and all the other sew offs. This is what we did for this poor semi-defeated Schmetz needle. Schmetz needle, I think we finally killed one. I think we finally killed it. I think we did. We did this genuine cowhide, all of this fun stuff. Yeah. We did 100% cotton, this one here. Here, I should show you the bed maybe a little bit. Here we go. We did 16 layers of Amazon Prime packing parchment paper. We did 2 layers of outdoor carpeting, a single layer of outdoor carpeting. I don't even have enough room for all this. We did 8 layers of 100% cotton, 3 layers of upholstery material, 8 layers of genuine heavy-duty, are you kidding me, denim material. We did 100% cotton with quilt batting. We did genuine fleece, 4 layers of that. And we did these 2 layers of genuine cowhide as well. All of this on the same needle. Is there any wonder that it is tired and beat up and saying, I'm done. Change me out, tag out, tag out. So, yeah, I mean, even a Schmetz needle, like anything, you can beat it up enough. And it's the first time we've sewn this cowhide. This cowhide is really tough stuff to get through. And we did it multiple times. But this is what a sew-off sandwich looks like. This is a sewing Olympics that you see on this channel, where even when we encounter challenges, we don't give up. We just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. So God bless you guys. Thanks for joining us for this live stream today. Thank you, leadership team, for taking care of the family. And thank you to Shelly as well for the opportunity of running this great machine that you learned how to sew on through the paces. I mean, through some major paces. And now we can celebrate this machine graduating from the workshop. And yes, I'll put in a brand new needle before this machine goes back to the customer. So there you have it. I might as well end with a song that also gave us a bit of a challenge. I don't think it was a song. And we'll give it one more play. All right, High Old Silver, away! Take care. God bless. See ya.
Seniors on Medicare rush to claim the